There's a formula that predicts exactly how fast your money doubles, but nobody tells you it works just as precisely on the money you owe. It's called the Rule of 72, and it's one of those ideas that sounds like a clever trick until you actually run the numbers. Then it stops feeling like a trick and starts feeling like something you wish someone had explained to you a long time ago. Here's how it works. Take the number 72, divide it by an annual interest rate, and the result tells you roughly how many years it takes for a sum of money to double. That's it. No spreadsheet, no formula sheet, no calculator app. Just 72 divided by the rate. Say you have money sitting in a savings account earning 5%. Divide 72 by 5. That gives you 14.4. Your money doubles in roughly 14 years. Put $1,000 in today, leave it entirely alone, and by the time a 10-year-old is in university, that 1,000 is 2,000. The math does the lifting. Now try 8%. That's roughly in the ballpark of what broad stock market index funds have returned annually, on average, over long historical periods. Divide 72 by 8, and you get 9. 9 years to double, then another 9 to double again. This is the compounding story most people have heard at some point. The patient investor, the slow build, money making money. And it's true, but it's only half the story, because here's what almost nobody says out loud. The Rule of 72 has no idea whether it's working on a savings account or a credit card balance. It has no moral opinion. It's pure arithmetic. And that means it runs in both directions, with exactly the same precision, regardless of which side of the equation you're on. Take a credit card balance sitting at 15% APR. Divide 72 by 15. You get 4.8. So that balance doubles in roughly 4 years and 9 months, without a single new purchase. You don't have to spend another cent. The balance grows on its own. Because that's what compound interest does when you owe it instead of earn it. It doesn't wait. It doesn't pause. It accrues overnight, every night, at the daily rate your card issuer calculated when you signed up. Now move to 22% APR. That's close to where the national average for credit card interest rates sits right now. Divide 72 by 22. You get about 3.27 years, roughly 39 months. So a $3,000 balance, maybe from a car repair, or a few months of carrying a balance you meant to clear, that becomes $6,000 in 39 months. No new purchases, no emergency, just a balance that wasn't paid down fast enough, and interest that kept doing its job. And at 29% APR, which some store cards and retail cards reach, divide 72 by 29. That's about 2.5 years. A $5,000 balance becomes $10,000 in less than 3 years. At that rate, the math is moving faster than most people's awareness of it. Most people have a sense somewhere that credit card interest is bad, but bad is vague. $3,000 becomes $6,000 in 39 months without one new purchase is not vague. That's a specific thing. It has a number and a timeline. And the Rule of 72 gives you that number in about 5 seconds, which is precisely why it's worth knowing. Here's the reframe that changes how this whole picture feels. When most people think about paying off debt, they experience it as a sacrifice. You're giving up spending power now to get back to zero. It doesn't feel like building anything. It feels like running uphill just to reach flat ground. And that emotional framing is part of why people often underprioritize it. Put a little toward the balance each month, not too aggressively, because saving and investing also feel important, and also feel more like progress. But look at the arithmetic from a different angle. If you pay off $1 sitting on a 22% APR credit card, you have just earned a guaranteed 22% return on that dollar. Not projected, not based on some historical average, guaranteed. The interest that dollar would have generated, the compounding that would have quietly doubled your balance in roughly 39 months, is gone. You captured it, you kept it, and it can never compound against you again. Compare that to a savings account at 5%, or even a broad stock market index fund, which has averaged somewhere around 8 to 10% annually over very long periods. And even that is not guaranteed in any given year. At 22% APR, paying down your balance outperforms both of those, reliably, with zero risk attached to the outcome. There's no bad year. There's no correction. The return is the rate, and the rate is certain. This is not an argument against investing or building a savings habit. Those things matter enormously over a lifetime. But order matters too, and the math is fairly blunt. If you're carrying a balance at 20-something%, the highest guaranteed return available to most people is paying that balance down. Not a headline idea, not a dinner party topic, but the arithmetic doesn't really care about that. One honest note worth flagging. The rule of 72 is an approximation. It's most accurate for interest rates in the range of roughly 6 to 10%. At 22% or 29%, the actual doubling time is slightly longer than the formula implies. More precise calculations put 22% APR at closer to 42 or 43 months, not 39. But for a fast mental model of what's happening to a balance you're carrying, it gets you close enough. The direction is right, the scale is right, and that's what matters for using it as a thinking tool, rather than a precise financial calculation. So here's the picture to hold on to. Compound interest is a machine, pointed at savings earning 5%, and it doubles your money in 14 years. Pointed at investments returning 8%, and it doubles in 9. Pointed at a credit card balance at 22%, and it doubles that balance in roughly 3.3 years. Silently, without your involvement, without caring whether you know it's happening. The machine doesn't take sides. It just runs. And the insight that comes out of all of this, not a prescription for any specific situation, just a way of seeing it, is that a high-interest balance is already a kind of investment. You're just on the wrong side of the compounding. Every dollar you put toward that balance is a guaranteed return at the rate printed on your statement. Very few things you can do with money come with that kind of certainty. 72 divided by your interest rate. That's how long until your balance doubles. Now you have the number.